What if Luke and Leia were born before Order 66? In this video, I'm going to present my theory on how the Skywalker twins' birth taking place before Anakin turned to the dark side would have dramatically altered the galaxy's fate going forward. Now, before I jump into this story, I want to make it clear that I am not making this video to serve as an alternative to the movies, but rather to simply explain the effect that the timing of Luke and Leia's birth had, and how Palpatine manipulated Anakin through his wife and their unborn children, and also to explore what may have happened had the Chancellor's timing been off. But now with that in mind, let's have some fun. We'll pick this scenario up just one day before Order 66 originally took place. Obi-Wan would have already left and began his search for General Grievous, and Yoda would have left for Kashyyyk. Everyone would remain unaware of Padme's pregnancy outside of Palpatine, who has known Anakin's secret for many months. Upon the birth of the children, Anakin would decide that he and Padme should leave for Naboo the next day. But when Padme woke early that following morning, she would be horrified to find that the children were gone. Hearing his wife's cry for help, Anakin would rush into the room to see what was wrong. He assured Padme that he would quickly find them, that everything would be alright, and he rushed out the door and called for an emergency meeting with the Jedi Council. Without hesitation, he would reveal the truth about his secret marriage and about his newborn children. Shocked and infuriated by what he was hearing, Mace Windu would begin to suggest that Anakin be immediately expelled from the Jedi Order, but Obi-Wan would jump in, defending his apprentice. A heated argument began to brew, but was quickly silenced as a council member suddenly dropped dead on his hologram, and clone troopers walked over his dead body. The Great Purge had begun, and hundreds of Jedi all around the galaxy began to fall. The council meeting was immediately dismissed, as Yoda suggested that Master Windu go check on Chancellor Palpatine's whereabouts. Now, in these circumstances, nobody would know for sure that Palpatine was the Sith Lord they had been looking for, although Yoda was very close to uncovering that truth. So this time, Anakin's insistence to accompany the Jedi would not be met so harshly. He wasn't sure why, but his senses told him that his children were there. And this time, there was no denying young Skywalker's request. He was going to the Chancellor's office with or without Windu. Mace could feel that this visit was going to be more than a check-in to make sure that Palpatine was doing alright. And although he did not trust Anakin, he would respect the younger Jedi's power. And as he considered the demand, looking into Skywalker's eyes, he noticed something he had never sensed in Anakin before. That ever-present passion to prove himself to the Council had been overtaken by something else. Anakin's soul burned with pain and desperation to save his family. Sure signs of the dark side. But there was something else, a familiar look in his eyes that he had never seen in any other Jedi. Those fiery signals of anger and fear were coupled with hope and determination to help. Mace did not know if he could trust Anakin yet or not, but that unwavering fixation to do whatever it took was exactly what they were going to need if there was any chance of stopping the evil that was rising all around. As the 5 Jedi arrived in the Chancellor's office, an unexpected face spun around to greet them. Maul smiled as he rose from his seat and calmly circled around the room, taunting the Jedi, explaining that coming here was a mistake, that Darth Sidious was 10 steps ahead. Realizing what was going on, Master Windu would accuse Maul of being the Sith Lord they were looking for. Maul would then explain that he once served under Darth Sidious, but that things had changed. He would inform Anakin that he was the final piece to the puzzle, that his turn to the dark side would mark the end of the Jedi and the revenge of the Sith. Just as he had tried to do with the fallen Jedi Ahsoka Tano, Maul would ask Anakin to join him, telling him that together they could destroy the Sith. Mace Windu would not accept this notion, realizing that Sidious's fall would only lead to Maul's rise. Either way, the Sith would reign once again. The oppression of the Sith will never return, Mace said as he ignited his lightsaber. 3 more blades ignited in unison, but not Anakin's. Maul stood still, focused on young Skywalker. He was confident in his abilities, arrogant even, but Maul was no fool. He stood no chance by himself. Anakin tried to talk Master Windu down, but it was no use. He leapt at Maul, who stepped backward, defending himself from all angles, but quickly being overtaken by the 4 Jedi who had now surrounded him. Mace raised his saber into the air to strike, but Anakin pushed all 4 Jedi backward with the Force. Maul looked at Skywalker and smiled. They both sprung into battle. Maul quickly struck one Jedi and then another, evening the playing field. And as a green blade swung at Anakin's head, he ducked and struck backward, killing Jedi Master Kit Fisto without looking. He had no choice but to defend himself there, but now it was 2-on-1. Anakin was no Sith. He was not a killer. Not a Jedi killer anyways. Not yet. As Windu and Maul continued to fight, Anakin reached out with the Force, freezing Maul in midair and then force-choking Mace Windu. He would begin to plead with them, asking them to join forces, but Mace was no pushover. He quickly freed himself from Anakin's grasp and sent him flying backward, lecturing the younger Jedi on his overconfidence. But the reality was that it was he, Mace Windu, who had made the greatest mistake of all. Could he have taken Maul on his own? Yes, definitely. Could he have killed Anakin if he had to? Probably. But 2-on-1, this was a different story. Swallowing his pride had never been Mace's strong suit. He raised his saber for one final showdown, as a now enraged Anakin Skywalker stood with Maul, and the two of them charged at the Jedi Master. The acceleration of Order 66 had not allowed General Kenobi enough time to engage Grievous. His clone troopers turned on him, allowing General Grievous to escape. Yoda and Obi-Wan would return to Coruscant to warn all Jedi to stay away from the temple, but they were far too late to save the ones who had already been there. After taking out the last of the clone troopers at the temple, the two Jedi went to consult Padme while Obi-Wan called on Ahsoka, requesting that she meet with him at Padme's home. Padme asked where Anakin was and if he was alright, and this time Obi-Wan replied. The truth was they didn't know where he was or what he was doing, but what he did not share with Senator Amidala was that Master Windu had been killed, and a security hologram showed Anakin leaving the premises alongside Kenobi's greatest enemy. The four of them would quickly decide to leave Coruscant as Ahsoka's senses guided her toward her old master. This was no accident. Anakin was intentionally reaching out to his Padawan, leaving a trail everywhere he went, knowing that she would catch up, but unsure if she could reach him in time. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, but first I want to leave you with this. There are a million different ways this story could go from here, so rather than promising a part 2 in the near future, I want to leave the conclusion up to you guys. As it stands right now, Palpatine is in possession of Luke and Leia, with Maul and Anakin tracking him together. And then we have Obi-Wan, Yoda, Padme, and Ahsoka following Anakin's trail. So what do you guys think would have happened from here? Would Sidious elude the Jedi, training Luke and Leia to eventually pit them against one another to decide which one was worthy of becoming his apprentice? Or would Anakin have found the Emperor and saved his children? Or perhaps he would have become Darth Vader at some point either way. What impact would Ahsoka, now working alongside Yoda and Obi-Wan, have going forward? Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments section below, and as usual my friends, may the Force be with you, always.